Pennsylvania, the Keystone State. Yet could it also be the keystone to unlocking many of the unknown mysteries? In this show, we'll be discussing all of the haunts, local legends, and unknown phenomena that have happened right here in our very own backyard. I'm your host, Matt Boyer, a senior investigator in the paranormal field.
And I'm Jacob Bacasa, a junior investigator.
And this is Unearthing the Unknown. December is a time known for all of the wonder in life. The birth of Christ, the celebration of a new year. For Saint Vincent, December is another special month, as in the early days of that month, many years ago, our founder, Boniface Wimmer, passed away. Tonight's story talks about the origins of his spirit being seen here on campus on December 8th, the original day of Founders Day, and the other spirits that lurk here at Saint Vincent Basilica. All right, Jake. Welcome to one of the creepiest, eeriest areas of campus, yet also one of the most interesting. I know what he's going to say. Interesting, he says.
I mean, I wasn't really thinking about it. It reminded me of that sort of bit, but
Anyhow, we are currently underneath the basilica, and right behind us, if you want to step out of the way, Jake,
yes.
It's kind of hard to see, though right here is one out of the two infamous red doors of St. Vincent. Now, the neat thing about these is it has a very historic meaning to the basilica here. So where we're down at the bottom of one of the back towers. So right behind the camera here is the entryway that leads into the crypt.
In fact, right next to this.
Right next to the spiral
stairs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Now there's one of these doors on each side. So there's a huge room behind. Now, Jake, have I told you yet what this room and what these doors were all for? All right, perfect. So what this is, like I said, there's one on each side. This goes along with the concrete slab that I showed you a while back. On the other
side, go to that, or is it connected?
It's all the same room. It's all the same. So what happened was, back when the basilica was originally built, the archabbots were supposed to be buried underneath. However, not long afterwards was a rule by the Pennsylvania state legislature put into place saying you can't have people buried here underneath our basilica. So Archabbot Wimmer was actually then moved out to the cemetery. Now, with that, I think that kind of gave it away, is behind here is where all the archabbots would have been buried. This is where all their tombs would have been, kind of like the Vatican grottos for anybody who gets to go there and see all the graves of the popes.
Or if any of you are Game of Thrones fans, the Stark crypts in Winterfell, whatever it is, I think. I don't know.
You gonna take your backpack off and stay a while? I just noticed that.
It's a
okay.
Exploration vibe.
Okay. You can't wear the red beanie, so he wears a green one in the backpack. My God. Anyhow, I know. Let's get back to it. So, so there's this cement slab that's underneath the rug in the other hallway. That would have lowered the caskets down into this room behind us.
You mean that would have been where the caskets were buried? You don't
no. So they would have been lowered from the main floor down and then moved here into the room in between a lot of the pillars that are in there and one of the archways.
See, the way you said that made it feel like the hole itself was just going to take it and lower the...
No. It was lowered down to one floor.
Well, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But anyhow, why we're here. So this past Sunday was December 8th.
Yes.
And now that is actually a very historic and significant date in St. Vincent history. It is actually the original day of Founders Day. And we celebrated Founders Day back in November. They switched it years ago, so this way the entire St. Vincent community could be together for Thanksgiving. But the original date was December 8th, and that's because that's the anniversary of when Boniface Wimmer died. So we were celebrating his death, and also him founding the college and Archabbot and everything.
But I would assume that Founders Day would be the day that St. Vincent was founded, unless that was lost. I don't know.
That's probably a good question for Guy Davis. Yeah, I don't know that off the top of my head. We just have the year.
It's just a question.
Anyhow, I'm going to read here from my notes of the great Father Brian Boozle on what he has here about the Red Door and Founders Day. And this is all going to come into understanding. Customarily, priests receive requests to say masses from people during their lifetime. It is said that when Boniface Wimmer passed away, he still had masses to say. Legend states that every year on the anniversary of his death, December 8th, Boniface Wimmer's spirit rises from the grave and makes the long journey from the cemetery across campus into the crypt to say masses he failed to complete in his natural life. On his journey, Boniface Wimmer passes through each red door on campus as a symbol of his desire to be buried in the Saint Vincent crypt. He was buried there for a short time and then moved to the cemetery. So it was Wimmer's idea that he and all the Archabbots were going to be buried here. But because of the law, they moved them out there to the cemetery, and all the Archabbats are now buried around Boniface Wimmer's grave. So I believe Archabbot Wiki, who just passed away with his son, is buried out there, along with all the other ones. And there's like one or two Archabbats who aren't out there. Anyhow, so with that, we are here at the exact place where I was down here on December 8th. I know, kind of wish I would have been.
I wish it would have been too.
To see, being here at the Red Door, watching the spirit of our college's founder, the founder of the Benedictine faith in America,
Watching, he says.
pass through this door, either on his way in or on his way out of the crypt, as he, in his spiritual spirit form, goes to say a mass, and making that desired wish to be back here buried inside the original actual crypt of the Archabbats.
It would be way creepier to me if the door was open by itself and it didn't see an apparition or anything like that.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to have a friend on the other side there to do that to scare you.
I would have.
Or asking one of the spirits to do that, but
I would have actively passed away.
then you could become a story.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll haunt your butt for the rest of my life.
You're not the first. Anyhow, yeah, so now, granted, I didn't bring any of my equipment tonight, and I don't want them to be using too much energy for opening a door, because that does take a lot of energy out of a spirit to be able to do stuff like that, turn on and off lights to open and close doors. It depends ultimately on how much energy they have. I would hope that Archabbot Wimmer would have a lot of energy, but I mean, a very big religious figure in the United States,
Yeah.
so
That's where my mind went to, and that's why I chuckled a little bit, because I found that a little. I found it humorous in the sense that, like, oh yeah, fully thou guy, would have a lot of like energy to him.
yeah. Now that's all that we have on the story here of Archabbot Wimmer, is that his spirit comes in and out of here and goes into the crypt to say mass. But because that's so little, and just because we are getting into the Christmas season, it is December, and we will be leaving for Christmas break soon, so we will be off the air for a while, till January. I thought it'd be nice to do two other quick little stories that deal with the Basilica here around the Christmas time.
Future. Then it's just, you can go home, guys. They broke the money.
Yeah. Alright. Second one is,
That was my best joke.
and it was not a good joke.
Yeah.
Anywho,
So you
which we still need to think if we want to do the special episode of one of us, guessing you'll have it be me, sitting next to a fireplace in a nice armchair reading a Christmas Carol.
You're probably the only one who has those sorts of things on hand.
At home, yes.
Yeah, exactly. See, there you go.
Anyhow, well, I would have to find a Christmas Carol book. I don't own a copy of it. I probably should be a ghost hunter. I have the most famous ghost story, and I don't have a copy of it. That's sad. Anyhow,
Good.
here we go. So the second one is the spirit of a monk in the crypt. So in the actual chapel crypt. On the evening of finals week, so we are in finals week right now, okay? A young freshman boy was praying in the crypt before his first major exam of finals. As the boy walked into the room, he noticed that there was a monk who was praying in one of the front rows. The monk had his hood up, by the way. Could this be the faceless monk?
I was about to say the faceless monk.
Yeah. Anyhow.
It was going to be more of a joke, but then you said the hood up.
Yeah, I know, right? He walked up to the... I'm sorry, we just have to pause. The choir's playing above us, and wow, they are loud, and that is beautiful.
That's true. It sounds like there's a choir of angels above us, as Matt made a comment earlier before we started recording.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it's background music for you if you can hear that.
They probably won't after we get it rendered.
Man.
Maybe I'll make an exception. Our voices will echo, so that's one.
Well, yeah. That's
I don't know. Getting back to the story here. So the boy walks up to the monk, put his hand on his shoulder, and asked him if they could pray together. The monk did not respond, and the boy assumed that he was deep in prayer. Later, the boy had gotten up from his chair and finished his prayers, and he thanked the priest who was there. The monk did not respond, and the boy became pretty angry and asked the monk to be more polite. Now, the interesting thing is...
I wouldn't expect... If I were the monk, I'd say, boy, you be polite. Maybe I was still in prayer.
Here's the interesting thing. Right after he said that, before the boy left the crypt, the monk got up, started walking towards the altar. So coming like right over here.
Because if we go
the altar is literally like that way.
Yes.
And he walked right through the tabernacle and right through the wall, going back into the room that's behind us there. So
see, I was
right through the wall.
See, I was about to say, this kid put his hand on him, and then just...
For him to walk through the wall, yeah. Now, sometimes that can happen. His spirit does have the ability. It's very rare, and my investigated to see anything like that. But there have actually been many other investigators. But there are the few times where spirit has been able to take some kind of human form, and that has happened where they'll then walk through the wall or something.
I mean,
so you might think that they're a physical person, and then...
Until further proof, that just sounds like the Tristan monk.
Well, here's the other thing.
Like back to the red
Well, this also comes back to it. You are on the right track. The boy didn't see a face. The hood was always up and he never saw the face. And according to it as well, he didn't see there any arms or anything. Like he had his two...
So imagine like you hit...
Well, because the habit has like pockets in front here, he put his sleeves in there so he couldn't see the hands.
Oh, so he was a Minecraft villager.
For those who get that reference. Anyhow.
That one's for you.
Yeah. So there's one final one, and the choir is still singing absolutely beautiful. I'm loving this ambience music for us.
It actually feels a lot more comforting, honestly.
He was so creeped out when we first came through the door here. He's like, ooh, I don't
I'm a
like
little
this.
creeped out because it's night, and night, I don't like it because I don't like the dark. I'm a bit afraid of the dark. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's why I know you want to wait to do the cemetery until it's light out again till like 8 o'clock at night. Or we have to do a day episode. But nighttime's the best time to do these kinds of stories, especially in the
We'll get to the cemetery episode once.
He's very interesting.
No, I'm very eager to get to that story because that's gave me the PTSD of ever going into the cemetery again. But
anyhow, final story of the night. Midnight Mass, Christmas Eve. Okay?
I like the thematics, so I'm really intrigued.
Catholics, for the most part, I know my main parish back home, we had to change midnight mass to 9 o'clock mass because one year our priest fell asleep on us and I had to go wake him up. Funny. Father Phil, if you are listening to this, still miss you. We still love you. But anyhow, so we switched ours to 9 o'clock. But a lot of churches still do a midnight mass for Christmas Eve.
I've been to one.
Yeah, the story goes like this. Saint Vincent security guards were still here, midnight mass. They refused to walk the basilica alone on Christmas Eve. So one of the security guards, he did not like that idea of locking it up and being on his own here. One evening one Christmas, a single security guard, he entered the basilica to lock each door from the inside. Upon reaching the front of the church, the man heard all of the pew bands, so the little kneelers. He went up, he's up there by the altar just making sure everything's okay. And then all of a sudden, one after another, from the front to the back, so from the altar back to the doors, the kneelers, boom, 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 all in each row, on all four of the pews, so the two main side and then the side pews, all went down in amazing secrecy. The guard heard the loud chanting and prayer of what sounded like a bunch of monks, but he was the only one in the basilica at the time. And as you would probably do, as you're right now kind of showing the emotion of it, he ran at top speed to exit through the main doors of Basilica. So just imagine that Christmas Eve, you're up by the altar, you hear all of the kneelers just bang down onto the floor one after another, and then you just start hearing a deep kind of Gregorian chant of what sounds like 100 monks.
Oh, I had this scene like that planned out for like a thing.
Yeah,
like,
you told me about that.
The music plays like an echoing fact. Oh, dude, that's like it's so bad of a fear.
I know. I know. Anyhow, that is actually, I know that I don't really have much more. These were 3 kind of short stories because it is finals week and we have a million finals we have to take care of. As well as getting ready for Christmas break. But that is all I have of these. Now, since this is our last episode, on behalf of Jake, I'm happy to wish each and every one of you a very happy holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. All the holidays.
Kwanzaa.
Yeah, I don't remember when the exact date is of Kwanzaa, but yeah, Happy Kwanzaa to the Orthodox churches. Yes, Happy Christmas when that comes a little bit later. But with that, this has been the last ghost story of 2024. But we will be back in January to continue telling all of the haunts, local legends, and spooks and unknown mysteries.
This is like the finale of season 1. 2024 season 1. You kind of.
Okay, we'll say that. We'll say that. But Merry Christmas to everybody. Enjoy the holidays. I know.
Enjoy your breaks. All the fellow college students out there.
I hope you enjoy your break because you and I have been doing a lot, so we deserve it. I don't get much of a break, but hopefully you can sleep for the both of us.
Well, you know what? For you, I will. Actually, thank you. I actually appreciate that.
I mean, you were asleep literally last night in the radio room.
I'm a very sneaky boy.
And you know I don't sleep, so sleep for me. But with that, this is the end of the episode. So until next time in 2025, I'm Matt Boyer.
And I'm Jacob Bacasa.
We'll see you next year. Hey there, listeners. I'm Matt Boyer, station manager of WSVC Radio. If you like what you're listening to, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button to be notified with all of our updates. Every day, one of our shows will be releasing a new episode. Stick around and tune in.